How's it going, Cosmonauts? I'm Cosmic and welcome back. Today, I guess we're making a Marvel Rivals video, you could say. It is more Marvel Rivals adjacent, that being, I wanted to make a DC Rivals. I started with going over the base roster that we got for Marvel Rivals. I counted how many Vanguards we got, and I think it was 8 Vanguards, 18 Duelists, and 7 Strategists. So, I went into the DC lore and tried to fill out that just off the top of my head. You know, I tried to get the main beats for DC. Like, I tried to focus on the things that people really know. So it's mainly Justice League and Teen Titans and Batman. Those would be the big ones because, let's be honest, that's the big attraction for DC. But I did throw in some twists and turns in there. So without further ado, I think we should start with our Vanguards like I normally do. And like I said, there is 8 of them. Like I said, there is 8 Vanguards. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to list the character, maybe list an ability or two that made me put them in the category they're in. Starting off our Vanguards, of course, we have everyone's favorite superhero, Superman. Of course he's a fucking tank. If he's in this game, he has to be a tank. He's fucking Superman. Plus, like I said, we have to have the Justice League. We have to have Superman in this game. It's fucking DC Rivals. We need Superman. After Superman, I kind of wanted to throw a wild card in there. And, no pun intended, even though it's not really a pun, but I went with Wildcat. For those that don't know, Wildcat is like, I think he's from Justice Society originally, and he's an old school DC character. And I'm pretty sure he's credited with training Batman, like, some of his fighting skills. I know he got a lot of it from the monks, but I believe a lot of his, like, boxing stuff, like combat, that all comes from Wildcat. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. After that, I went to Green Lantern. I feel like he would be a tank. He could be a really cool duelist too, but just the fact that you could create walls and create barriers with Green Lantern. I also don't really care which Green Lantern it would be. My personal top 2 that I'd want more so. I grew up on Hal Jordan, so either Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner would be really cool. Just because Kyle Rayner's suit is so much cooler. And I know all the millennials love Kyle Rayner. Because he's the 90s boy. Next up is our first Batman villain on the list, which is Bane. I feel like, of course, he's going to be a Vanguard. He could be our, like, kind of Hulk of the game, where you can kind of start in, like, a smaller form, and maybe the more damage you do, you get, like, venomized and get bigger and stronger. I don't know. Next up is Wonder Woman. I put her in Vanguard just because I imagine her kind of playing like a Captain America Bucky hybrid. Because of, like, she has the lasso of truth. She also has her shield. I feel like you could make it work there. Next one is kind of a niche character. I feel like he's a little bit more known recently. And that's Lobo. Lobo is basically an alien bounty hunter from the DC universe. He's fucking awesome. He's basically an alien biker. He'd be really fucking sick. I remember he's in Injustice, the first one, as a DLC, and he's like one of the most fun characters in that game, and I would just love to see him in this game. And dude, Lobo is super overpowered. Like, he's like a Superman villain. Like, he goes toe to toe with Superman. Like, and it's fun to him. Like, he's a fucking tank. He's tough, bro. That brings us to our next one, which is Cyborg. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Cyborg. I just think he's kind of annoying in a lot of his media, and like, I'm a person that believes that he does not belong in the Justice League. And my opinion on that is everyone goes, oh, why doesn't he belong in the Justice League? To me, he's a Teen Titans member, for one, because, for, like, context, right? The only thing that Cyborg has is, like, he's the tech guy. He's smart. He can do that stuff, right? Batman is better than him at all of that, so why would they need him on the Justice League? It just doesn't make sense to me. Plus, they don't have that character for the Teen Titans, so it always made sense that the Teen Titans had him. But that's just my opinion. Next up is another Batman villain. This one's a bit of a niche villain, but I mean, we are gonna get I think it's a movie with him soon. So, which is Clayface. I fucking love Clayface. I'm a huge Clayface fan. I really want some Clayface representation. He's such a cool character and he's got some really cool abilities. And his lore is just kind of fucked up, I'm not gonna lie. And with Clayface, that brings us to the end of our vanguards. We're gonna get into our 18 duelists. This will cover most of our Justice League and I think most of our Teen Titans. Yeah, that's mostly what's here. Alright, starting off, our duelist is the Flash. More Justice League representation. My personal favorite Justice League member as a kid. I remember I was such a huge DC fan because I just wanted to be the Flash as a kid. I wanted to run everywhere. I wanted to be Barry Allen. I don't really know how they can make him work. I feel like they could make it fair and work around him being a speedster. Next up is, of course, Batman. Batman would be a duelist, and he'd be a very fun one at that. He could have I'm just imagining he could have a grapple, so he could grapple 2 places. I'm assuming he could grapple to enemies. He would obviously have an air glide, double jump, like close quarters combat. His alt fire could be batarangs. Like, come on. He's easy. He'd be super fun. Probably play like a hybrid of like Iron Fist and Moon Knight, I think. Next up is Green Arrow. This one's easy because he's basically just Hawkeye. He's a little bit more of a goofy Hawkeye, so like, you know, fist arrows, stuff like that. That's at least how I remember Green Arrow, but I remember Justice League of... I think it's Justice League of America one. I'll put up which one. It might be... Was he in Brave and the Bold? It might be him from Brave and the Bold, if I'm thinking of it. But I don't know. It's been so long since I watched any of the older fucking DC shows, like early 2000s, 90s era, that stuff. I haven't watched those in years. I have, like, no memory of that. But, I mean, yeah, he's basically Hawkeye. So, there we go. I really like to see him because I was a big fan of, like, CW Arrow. Next up is my favorite Bat family member, which is the Red Hood. Of course, get Jason in this game. I feel like he's also it's kind of hard because out of the Bat family, there's the 3 kids, right? And for me, I have 2 of them here and one's missing because one of them, I feel like he's kind of would just be too similar to the other ones. And Red Hood, it would be the most unique, I think, out of all of them, since he has the most different fighting style and using guns in combat. Talking about the Bat family, we can't talk about Batman without talking about Joker. And of course Joker would be a villain. Why'd I say villain? I meant duelist. He's the fucking Joker. Of course he would be a duelist. Like, maybe he has a stun with laughing gas, or, I just really hope he has an emote where he pulls out the revolver and it does the bang. That's all I really want. Or an idle animation or something. Ooh, MVP, that'd be fucking sick. Number 6, on our duelist list is Blue Beetle. I love Blue Beetle. I remember, I don't even think, was it Young Justice he was on? Bro, I gotta stop referencing these shows because I'm probably wrong. because my memory of these shows is terrible. But I remember watching him on one of those shows, DC shows, like when I was a kid, and I just remember falling in love with this character. Injustice 2, I really played the shit out of Blue Beetle, and I really loved that character. He just would be interesting enough to this game. He could be a flying character if they really wanted. He could play similar to Iron Man if they need be. He could play like Squirrel Girl if they need him to. Like, that's the thing. He's very versatile. Next up is Deadshot. This would be our like Black Widow of the game. Except I think he'd be a little bit more fun because the wrist cannons would be a very interesting twist as well. Like if you can swap between your sniper and the wrist cannons, that'd be pretty sick. Next up is some more Teen Titans representation, which is Starfire. I think Starfire would be very, very, very cool. They would have to tone her down quite a bit because she is very fucking OP. Yeah, I just think it would be nice to see Starfire, especially since she is such a popular member of Teen Titans now, because the Teen Titans Go. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm a fan of Starfire as a character, so. Next up is another Teen Titans member, being Beast Boy. Of course I have Beast Boy on here. He's so unique, he'd be such a cool fucking character. Imagine that, like, you do different moves and you can turn into different animals while you're doing it. Like, like, imagine you have a sprint animation, right? Like, you have a sprint, right? You press a button, it makes you run faster. And you turn into, like, a cheetah. Like, absolute cinema. You start hitting shit, you turn into a gorilla. Like, come on. The image is there. Like, it'd be really, really, really cool. Next up is the Teen Titans main villain, which is Deathstroke. At least to me, he's always their main villain in my head. It'd be really cool to see him in this game. I've always liked the way that Deathstroke looks. We're just not going to bring up the fact that in canon, he did have relations with a child. We're not going to talk about that.
There's something you need to know.
Please.
On Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
In this universe, he did not. Next up is our first Flash villain, and I think it's our only Flash villain, that being Captain Boomerang. I think Captain Boomerang would be such a fucking awesome character. I love Boomer as a character, especially from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I really enjoyed his character in that game. As long as, I mean, that game is like a fucking... You don't fucking talk about that game. We don't talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But, yeah, no. Next up is Black Canary. I fucking love Black Canary. Like, she's like top, like, probably 3 DC characters for me. The thing is, Black Canary is, like, people don't understand that in most, like, universes and in most, like, iterations of the DC universe, she is second to Batman in close quarters combat. Out of the entire Justice League. You realize how good you at, like, close quarters combat you have to be next to fucking Batman. Batman knows every single combat method, pretty much. And on top of that, she is not like a normal human. She has superpowers. She has a super-powered scream that can, like, rupture eardrums and shit, which is pretty cool. She can shatter glass with her scream. She can, like, stun people. It's pretty awesome. I've always been a big fan of her character, ever since I was a kid with Justice League, and I used to main her all the time on Injustice. Next up is another character that I feel like could be our iteration of Panther, which is Catwoman. It'd be really cool to see her maybe kind of have like a swing with the whip or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing at this point. Or maybe the motorcycle, who knows? Next up is Nightwing. Like I said with Red Hood, I mean, if you paid attention there, I didn't say that Nightwing wasn't gonna be here. So here's Nightwing. Of course Dick Grayson needs to be in this game. Out of all of the bloody Bat family, the one that is like the most heroic probably is Nightwing. I could be really brash for saying that, but I feel like a lot of people say that. A lot of people have that opinion. But, I mean, Dick's great. Dick's one of the best characters. I can't wait till we see him in the DCEU. I really miss seeing the Robins on fucking screen with Batman, so I'm really looking forward to that. Especially with Dynamic Duo. That's I don't know why I couldn't think of what that was called. When Dynamic Duo comes out, I'm very excited for whenever that comes around. Next up is kind of a niche character, but if you are a Justice League fan, you probably have heard of him, that being Red Tornado. I feel like he could be our Storm of the game, kind of a flying dude that can shoot tornadoes and stuff, I don't know. Next up is another fan favorite Batman character, which is Harley Quinn. I wasn't gonna put her on the list, I'm gonna be honest, but Harley is a fan favorite. She's in basically every single DC anything that comes out. She was in Multiverses, so she's probably gonna be in this if it ever came out, so I had to put her here. And out of anything, I think she'd be a duelist, so that's why she's here. Next up is Aquaman. Personally, I wasn't going to put him on here either, but he is like a mainstay in the Justice League, and he would basically just be Namor, so that's the only reason he's here. Number 18. Okay, this one was biased. This one I had to put in here. My favorite Batman villain is Scarecrow, and I put him on here just because I want them to do a game mechanic where you can, like a fear mechanic. I think they have that in Paladins. And with Scarecrow, that brings us to the end of our duelists. And that brings us on to our 7 strategists. Starting us off with Dr. Fate. I feel like Dr. Fate, he could play a pretty decent Vanguard as well, pretty much playing the role of Strange, but I kind of want to see him in a strategist role. I'm going to be honest, this is the role I really struggled with in the latter half, and there's one on here that I'm not even sure if I agree with anymore, which we'll talk about when we get there. But Dr. Fate definitely is a cool one. Would like to see him as a strategist. This one was the first one that like popped in my head immediately. I was like, oh, they're a strategist, which is Lex Luthor. Kind of the same idea I had with Dr. Octopus for Marvel Rivals, with making him a super smart kind of character that boosts other characters around him and makes them stronger, as well as healing them, because, I mean, he can make the tech to heal people. It's Lex. Being the super hater he is. I mean, I'm going to take this moment. I just got to bring up the fact that I still can't get over the fact that in the Superman movie, this man had a parallel dimension with monkeys writing hate messages 24/7 online about this dude. I still can't get over that. That is diabolical. Next up is our final Teen Titans member, and I bet all the Teen Titans kids were drooling over this girl, and that is Raven. I know most of the Teen Titans people are going, where the fuck is Raven? But here you go. She's a strategist. Be kind of cool to have a dark magic healer. Next up is Poison Ivy. This one would be really cool, I think. There's been like times like in the Arkham games when she helps to kind of disperse what's it called, the fear toxin or whatever. There's been times I feel like she could have like some kind of plant that heals people. They can make it work. Next up will be Mr. Terrific. The only reason he is on this list is just because of the potential that I saw in Superman. Before that, all I knew is this dude had a T on his face. That's literally all I knew. I knew he was smart and Mr. T-Man. That's pretty much it. But after Superman, I gained a lot of respect for this character and could definitely see him in a healing role. And maybe even if we're going off of the one from look at the one from Superman, with the like floating chair and stuff, we could make him like a flying healer if we really wanted to, and just use the drones to kind of heal. Maybe like Ultron a little bit. But yeah, you could definitely put him in a healing role, and I feel like he could be a really cool character to play as, and very fun. Like I said, we already talked about Dr. Fate, and now we're going to talk about Dr. Fate's daughter, that being Zatanna, and I love Zatanna. She is one of my favorite DC characters as well. I almost said Marvel there. She is one of my favorite DC characters as well. One of my favorite characters in Injustice as well. Super OP, super fun to play. Not as good as is it Batwoman or Batgirl? I don't remember. Not as good as Batgirl in that game, though, for sure. That was like the best character in that game. On to our last strategist, and our last character for this list. Ha! Joking, there is a couple bonus ones. But our last character on our official list is Metamorpho. I feel like he could be a really cool strategist or a really cool vanguard. It's one or the other. It's 50-50. In this case, I didn't want to put him in honorable mentions, and I needed a strategist. It is the reason he's here. Sorry, Metamorpho fans, but at least he made the list. I picked out 10 honorable mentions as well, so these are characters that I wanted to add, or that I couldn't think of a role, or couldn't find the right place, or just think they could add later on as, you know, DLC characters later on, or just, you know, just add characters later on. First one being Martian Manhunter. For me, he is a mainstay in the Justice League. I really don't know much about this guy, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't really know where to put him. So I put him here. Next up was Doomsday. I swapped out Doomsday for Clayface at the last second, just because I think Clayface would be a little bit more unique. But I would love to see Doomsday in this as well, especially I think it's very fitting with Superman being here as well. Next up was Robin. Like I said, I couldn't really think of a way to make him unique enough to put him anywhere, so here he is. Another character that I really wanted to add, but I couldn't think of a way to work, and honestly, I don't see this ever coming to fruition if they ever made this, which is Deadman. This is is he a niche character? I know he was in Batman, that Batman show, right? And Justice League, so people would actually might know who this character is. But I always loved this dude. I always thought he was such a cool character, but I mean, how are you supposed to have a character that's literally a ghost? So, I mean, you could have a way that he could, like, possess, like, bodies or something. I don't know. It'd be pretty cool, though. We need one of the DC's golden boys, that being Peacemaker. Would love to see him make an appearance. I feel like he'd be a really funny character to play with some really good fucking voice lines. Especially if they got John Cena to play the character, because I feel like it's gotten to the point now where John Cena kind of is Peacemaker. And when you see Peacemaker, you just think of John Cena, which has kind of happened to a couple of, like, the same thing that happened with Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool a little bit, but for Peacemaker, because before he played Peacemaker, nobody knew who the fuck this character was, pretty much, so he really brought a lot of attention to this guy. Hey guys, Editing Cosmic here. Sorry I'm a little quiet, it's like 1 in the morning. I did want to say, the character that I did have here was originally Black Lightning, but in editing this video, I decided that I wanted to change it to Static Shock, because I feel like that is a better fit and would be a way cooler character, especially for the people that grew up watching Static Shock. That'd be fucking sick. And me personally, I like the character overall better. Anyway, back to the normal video experience. Bye. Next up is Booster Gold. Again, would love to see Booster Gold. Kind of ran out of space for him, but would love to see him. Another one would be Adam. This one I don't really know how it would work. He's kind of just a dude that can shrink, and I don't really know how I could make that function realistically in a hero shooter. But I mean, this is a concept, so what does it matter? Next up is GI Robot from Creature Commandos. I just feel like he'd be really cool. He'd be Punisher type. Plus, I just love his design and think he would look fantastic in like a Marvel Rivals style art style. Oh my god. And last up, I didn't get a spot for a Green Lantern villain, but I wanted to put Atrocitus in this game because I really like him, and I've never really been a fan of Sinestro. I've always just thought he looked goofy and never really took him serious. So Atrocitus was always the mainstay Green Lantern villain in my opinion. Anyways, that brings us to the end of our video here. If you have any suggestions or have any comments or want to correct me on anything in the comments, feel free to do that down below in the comments. If you want to help me out, you can always leave a like. If you dislike the video, you can always dislike it, but if you leave it a like, it will boost it in the algorithm and push my video out to some more people. So if you do that, it will be very much appreciated. If you really want to help me out, you can always subscribe. It is free, and we are trying to hit 500 subs by Halloween. If we can make that happen, it would be a fucking dream. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you are an MVP. Peace.